Welcome students. Today we are going to start a new chapter from geography. Topic is agriculture. So let's get started. So before starting the chapter, let's first understand what is agriculture. So agriculture is a primary activity in which we produce food for ourselves. Okay, and we also produce raw material for the various industries. Okay, about 2/3 of total population of India is dependent on agriculture. So this is all about agriculture. Now let's move on with the chapter. Next is types of agriculture. So there are various types of agriculture, various types of farming that is practiced in India. Okay, so on the basis of rainfall, land productivity and technological advancement, there are various types of farming that has been practicing in India. Okay, so first is primitive subsistence farming, and second is slash and burn farming. Okay, and third is intensive subsistence farming, and fourth is commercial farming. Okay, so there are four types of farming that has been given in your book. So first is primitive subsistence farming, second is slash and burn agriculture, third is intensive subsistence farming, and fourth is commercial farming. So let us discuss in detail about all these types of farming that is practicing in India throughout. Okay, so number one is primitive subsistence farming. Primitive subsistence farming is done on small land. Okay, and number two is primitive tools are used like hoe, digging sticks or dough. So while doing primitive farming, the primitive tools are used. The olden days tools are used like plow, hoe, dough, all these kinds of tools are used while doing the primitive farming. Okay, number three is depends on monsoon, natural fertility and their environmental conditions. So number three is this type of farming totally depends on monsoon rainfall. Okay, and it is on in the natural fertility of the soil and other environmental conditions. Okay, so these are the features of the primitive subsistence farm. Next is slash and burn agriculture. So in this agriculture, tribals or the farmers, they usually clear the patch of forest land and burn it for their agriculture practices, and they leave the patch idle for few years, and after the few years this allows the nature to replenish the fertility of soil itself, and after that they grow the crops out there. So this type of farming is called the slash and burn agriculture. Okay, types of primitive subsistence farming are practiced all over the world. Okay, and it is known by different names in the different part of the world. Like in India, in the northeast India, this type of farming is known as jumming. Okay, and Dipa in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh and Andaman and Nicobar Island. So Milpa in Mexico and Central America, and Conuco in Venezuela. So like same way it has different names in the different parts of the world. Okay, next is intensive subsistence farming. So in this type of farming, what is there? Number one is it is done on the land of high population. So this type of farmings are done on the land of high population because huge labor is required in this type of farming. Number two is high doses of fertilizers are used. So high fertilizers are used, okay, for the higher production. Number three is irrigation methods are also used to obtain high yields. So intensive irrigation measures are also used to obtain higher production. Okay, next is commercial farming. The agriculture practice on a large scale by using modern technology to earn good income for agriculture is called commercial farming. So it is usually done large scale in a large scale area for profit. Okay, number two is modern inputs are used, such as high yielding variety seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides. All these kinds of fertilizers are used in it. Okay, so example of commercial farming is plantation. Okay, plantation farming produces raw material for various agro-based industry, like for example tea plantation. Okay, a single crop is grown in a large scale. So one of important example of uh, commercial farming is plantation, and you can take it tea plantation because tea plantation is very well known to you all. So tea plantation is a single crop is grown in a large scale. So only a single crop, that is tea, is grown in a large area. It is grown in Assam and North Bengal in India. Okay, next topic is cropping pattern. It refers to the environmental difference that gave rise to the different cropping season in India. So it's a cropping pattern is environmental difference. So due to the different type of climates in India, there is an environmental difference, and with that what happens, there is a different types of crop that is grown in India in different seasons. Okay, so cropping seasons in India. So in India has the three cropping season, that is Rabi season, Kharif season, and Zaid season. Okay, so let us discuss first about Rabi crops. So what are the Rabi crops? Okay, Rabi crops are sown between October to December. Okay, so these crops usually are sown between October to December. Number two is crops are harvested between April to June. So these crops are harvested between April to June. So it is grown in October to December and it is harvested in April to June. Okay, so number three is example of these crops are wheat, barley, pear, gram, mustard, etc. All these crops comes under Rabi crops. Okay, number four is the states. So in India, which are the states that grows Rabi crops? Okay, the name of the states are Punjab, Haryana, okay, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, and UP. So these are the states in which Rabi crops are grown. So Rabi crops, what is the main thing you have to remember is that it is sown between October to December and it is harvested in April to June. Okay, example wheat, barley, etc. are the example of Rabi crops. Okay, so next we have Kharif crop. So what is Kharif crops? Okay, so number one point is crops are sown at the onset of monsoon. So with the coming of the monsoon, what happens? These Kharif crops are sown. Okay. Number two, crops are harvested between September to October. So these crops are harvested between September to October. That means these crops are sown during the month of June or July. That is with coming of the monsoon, and it is harvested between September to October. Okay, the main example of this Kharif crop are rice, maize, johar, bajra, and jute, etc. Okay, so for the Kharif crop, you must what you have to remember is that these crops are sown with the onset of the monsoon and is harvested in September to October. Okay, so these are the things which you have to remember. Okay, and number third is jade crops. So what is jade crops? Okay, these crops are sown between Rabi and Kharif season. So these crops are usually sown between the Rabi and Kharif season. That is between that is during your summer vacation. That is mostly in your May, June. Okay, in this months usually what happens, these jade crops are sown. Okay, between, or you can take March also. Okay, And example are watermelon, cucumber, vegetables, etc. So all this comes under the jeweled crops. Okay. Moving on, we have the major crops. Many varieties of food and non-food crops are grown in the various regions of our country depending upon the different cultivation practices, soil type and climatic condition. Depending on the cultivation practices, soil and the climatic condition of the area, many food crop and non-food crops are grown in our country. Okay, so grains and leguminous crops. Okay, rice, wheat, millets and maize are important grains grown in India, and pulses are all considered as leguminous crops. So first, let us discuss about the rice. So it is the main food crop of our country. Okay, it is the staple food crop of the majority of people in our country. Okay, and it is also an important crop of India. Okay, so India is the second largest producer of rice. So India is second largest producer of rice. First is China and second is India. Okay, so next is high temperature and high humidity is required. So for growing crops, high temperature, okay, and high humidity is required. Okay, so the states which grows rice in our country are West Bengal, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc. Okay, and the temperature should be 25 degrees Celsius plus. Okay, or rainfall should be 100 centimeter plus. Okay, and this rice comes under Kharif crop. Okay, so these are all about the rice. So moving on, next we have wheat. Okay, wheat is the second most important crop in our country. So India is second largest producer of wheat. Okay, again first producer is China. Okay, and the states which grows wheat in our country are UP, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan. Okay, and 50 to 75 centimeters of rainfall is required, like moderate type of rainfall, not very high rainfall, not low, moderate rainfall is required. Okay, require cool growing season. So it requires cool growing season and bright sunshine at the time of ripening. So at the time of ripening, the bright sunshine is required. Okay, so it comes under Rabi crop. So this wheat comes under Rabi crop. Okay, next we have is millets. Okay, so millets is a high nutritional value. So millets are very high in nutritional value, rich in calcium and iron. Okay, grows in dry region. So millets grows in dry region. Example, ragi, johar, bajra are all millets. Okay, next we have pulses. Okay, India is the largest producer and consumer of pulses in the world. So India is the world largest producer and consumer of pulses. Okay, the main source of protein. So it is the main source of protein. Okay, number 3 is needs less moisture and can survive in dry climate also. So it requires very less moisture and can survive in dry climate also. Okay, so examples are mung, masoor, pear, gram, or all are the example of pulses. Okay, so it is world largest. India is the world largest producer of pulses. So next we have is maize. This crop is used both as food and fodder. So it is also used as food also and fodder also. And it is kharif crop, although it is grown in Bihar as a rabi crop. Okay. So these are all the major food crops that are grown in India. Okay. Now we come to food crops other than grains. So food crops that are not grains. Okay. First we will learn about sugar cane. Sugarcane requires hot and humid climate. Again, the sugarcane also requires hot and humid climate. So this is a tropical as well as subtropical crop. Okay. So while growing sugarcane